They were silenced, erased, forgotten by history. Until now. This is Unearthing Forgotten Voices. In a world ruled by silence and obedience, one woman dared to speak, not in secret, not in whispers, but boldly, out loud, before God and man. Her name was Anne Hutchinson, a mother of 15, a midwife, a thinker, a spiritual rebel. And in the theocratic world of 1630s Massachusetts, that made her dangerous. The year is 1634. Boston is not yet the bustling city we know. It's a harsh outpost carved from wilderness. Its leaders? Puritan men who believed they were chosen by God to build a perfect society, a city upon a hill. But behind that ideal was something darker. A society built on strict obedience, rigid conformity, and fear of dissent. Here, religion was law, and law was not to be questioned. Anne Hutchinson arrived with her husband and children in 1634, seeking religious freedom.
We've arrived. This is our new home.
But Anne soon discovered the truth. Freedom in Massachusetts meant agreeing with the ministers, or staying silent. She chose neither. It started small. A few women gathering in her parlor asking questions about Sunday's sermon. But Anne didn't just repeat what was preached. She challenged it, dissected it, compared it to Scripture, and found it wanting. Soon, dozens were coming to her home, men and women alike, to hear Anne explain that salvation came not through obedience, but through grace, a gift from God, not the ministers. It was a message of spiritual equality, and in a world ruled by hierarchy, it was revolutionary. Anne's ideas threatened everything, not just theology, but power. Because if grace came directly from God, what was the point of ministers? If a woman could read the Bible and speak the truth, what else might she challenge? And if the people listened to her instead of the pulpit, how long before the colony unraveled? So they prepared a trap. In November 1637, Anne Hutchinson was arrested. She stood trial before the General Court of Massachusetts, led by Governor John Winthrop himself. The charge? Sedition, heresy, speaking out of turn. They expected her to cry, to crumble, to apologize. But Anne fought back. Anne Hutchinson did not beg. She did not retreat. Instead, she dismantled her accusers with their own tools, Scripture, reason, and conviction. When they accused her of undermining male authority, she responded, "If our cause be of God, why should we be afraid to hear it questioned?" When they told her she had no right to teach, she reminded them that even Deborah judged Israel in the Old Testament, that Mary sat at the feet of Christ, that truth could not be bound by gender. It was a battle of wits, and Anne was winning, until she said the one thing they could not tolerate. Anne declared that God had given her a personal revelation, that she was certain of her salvation, that she knew she was in His grace. To the Puritans, this wasn't just arrogance, it was blasphemy. If God spoke to her, why would she need the church? If God justified her, who were they to condemn her? In that moment, her fate was sealed. Anne Hutchinson was convicted of heresy, and she was banished. In the middle of a brutal winter, Anne, pregnant, with her children and few possessions, was exiled from Massachusetts. She found refuge with another rebel, Roger Williams, who had been cast out just 2 years earlier. Together they helped build something new, Rhode Island, a place of tolerance, where church and state were separate. Here, Anne could breathe again. She continued her work as a healer, a spiritual guide, a voice for those who had none. But peace would not last. In 1642, after her husband's death, Anne moved again, this time to New Netherland, near modern-day New York. She sought quiet, a place to raise her younger children, away from religious storms. But colonial borders were shifting. Tensions with native tribes were growing, and Anne was alone. In 1643, the storm returned. A raid on her settlement left Anne Hutchinson and all but one of her children dead. Her body was never found. For centuries, her story was buried. The Puritan leaders wrote the histories. They called her proud, contentious, a threat to public peace. But slowly, the truth reemerged. Anne Hutchinson's voice became a symbol for religious liberty, for the rights of conscience, for the radical idea that even a woman's voice matters. In 1987, 350 years after her trial, Massachusetts formally pardoned her. The governor called her a woman far ahead of her time. Anne Hutchinson never sought to lead a revolution. She simply refused to stay silent. And for that, she was exiled, erased, killed, but not forgotten. As I do understand it, laws of men do not bind the conscience. Anne Hutchinson. This is Unearthing Forgotten Voices. Subscribe for more true stories they didn't teach you in school.